Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video we have got some major technical analysis to do because as you guys know, Bitcoin has had a gigantic rally here over the last 24 hours or so. In yesterday's video, Bitcoin was trading at around $8,400. Overnight, Bitcoin rallied to $10,539. All the way up here around 9:45 last night, guys. That blew the top off of expectations. A lot of people were not expecting that. And in today's video, I want to start to analyze what actually caused this movement and where we go from here. Because, guys, this movement is very temporary. I want you to understand that. This is not going to last forever. Bitcoin isn't just going to moon until the cows come home. Bitcoin is going to have a correction. And there's a problem with this rally that I think you guys are not aware of and you need to be aware of. So we're going to be diving into not only the reason this rally happened, but also the problem that Bitcoin is facing because of what caused this. So guys, I think we have a great video lined up for you today. And guys, if you do enjoy the video, do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button down below. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps out the channel. I would be very appreciative if you did that. And also guys, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the post notification bell to be updated of all future content. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Bitcoin is, at the time of recording this, trading at over 9,000. We're trading around $9,200. Bitcoin has been retracing pretty much all night and has just started to bounce a little bit from exactly $9,000 over the last 5 minutes or so. At the time of recording this, it's 5:40 in the morning. You probably won't see this video for several hours, so go and check your chart. That is most certainly outdated. This is what the minute chart looks like at the time being. But guys, it's really important, this rally, and I'll show you why. A major reason why this is so important is because we broke pretty much all of our technical resistance. Bitcoin, as we talked about in yesterday's video, and we talked about in yesterday's live streams, both of these right here, Bitcoin got above the 20 daily exponential moving average by a country mile, and then after that, Bitcoin continued rallying, and right now anyway, is also above an important level of support at around $9,000, that being not only the 200 daily simple moving average, but also the 50 daily simple moving average. We have had our death cross. As you can see in here, guys, I told you yesterday there was nothing that Bitcoin could do to prevent that death cross. If Bitcoin went to 40 grand, it would take something like that to stop Bitcoin from having a death cross. That being said, it having a death cross is not the end of the world, especially considering we're back up above our 200, which is very, very important. I'm really happy to see that Bitcoin has gotten above all three of these moving averages, and that's all well and good. But here's the problem, guys. Why did this rally happen? Well, I'll give you two reasons. There's two major reasons that this rally happened. Well, actually, there's three. They're the technical reasons. A couple of the technical reasons have to do with the fact that there was bullish Rsi divergence. As you guys can see, there are bottoms down here. We have lows right here and lows right here. And on our RSI, on the contrary, we have lower lows and higher lows as the RSI continues forward into the future. That was indicating that we were going to have some kind of uptrend. It wasn't indicating we were going to have one this big, though. The thing that caused Bitcoin to jump this fast, this far, were the other two reasons. The first reason was that Bitcoin has been pulling back for 4 or 5 months, and quite frankly, people are tired of it. People are tired of the bears being in control. People are tired of the bears winning all the time. They're tired of Bitcoin not doing anything interesting. It was exhaustion from both sides, both factions. Both factions wanted something interesting to happen. And the RSI divergence and a couple of other technical factors having to do with the sentiment in the market. If you guys are in CT2A, then you will know about market sentiment. This video right down here, the market sentiment, as well as those technical factors, meant that when this news story broke having to do with China's President Xi Jinping, Bitcoin mooned. And a lot of people got on my case for saying mooned yesterday, but you know what? Bitcoin just rallied at 40%. I think I'm allowed to call it a moon. And guys, this is where this rally more than likely came from. We discussed this in yesterday's live stream. If you guys tuned in, I very much appreciate it. Had a lot of fun over there. We went for about an hour and a half. Hopefully we'll be doing some more live streams in the near-term future, but we talked a lot about this news story having to do with China's President Xi Jinping. Because guys, as you know by now, the news story that most likely caused this rally was President Xi saying that his country, China, should seize the opportunity afforded by blockchain technology and start investing in the blockchain space because of the benefits it would bring their economy. Now, I'm not going to dive into this news story because at this point you all already know about this. What I want to do instead is provide a commentary on what this news story is doing to Bitcoin. And I was talking about this a lot in yesterday's live stream, and I want to mention it again in this video because it's very important that you understand there's a problem here with this rally that Bitcoin has experienced. Yes, Bitcoin was overdue for a rally. Yes, Bitcoin was overdue for some kind of, we were overdue for it. The technicals were there. The market sentiment was exhausted. The market sentiment was not bullish, but it was a state of exhaustion. It was the kind of state where Bitcoin had the potential to moon, obviously. Here's the problem. Absolutely nothing has changed from today to 48 hours ago. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, there is one thing that's changed. The thing that's changed is that we've had a death cross, and that's not a good thing. As you guys can see here, the 50 has crossed below the 200, and if we stay this bullish for a little while, this will very quickly correct, and Bitcoin will have a golden cross within the next month if Bitcoin can stay above the 200. But that all being said, guys, like I said, nothing has changed between 48 hours ago and right now. None of the technicals have changed. There has not been anything going on the MACD just yet. There's not been anything going on the Bollinger Bands or anything just yet. I mean, we got overextended on them, of course. The MACD's bullish. There's just not a whole lot has changed from a technical perspective. Not a whole lot has changed from the length of the bullishness that we are experiencing, guys. Bitcoin's only been bullish for about a day right now. We've been in a downtrend for the second half of this year. So the precedent is still bearish. And I'm not saying that I think Bitcoin's going to go bearish. I'll talk about my opinions on this at the end of the video. But the point I want to make right now is that this rally is purely speculative. And people are going to say in the comment section, well, Jeb, isn't Bitcoin in general speculative? Yes and no, because Bitcoin's price action has a lot to do with fundamentals when you look at the longer term time frames. In fact, technicals are very important on the longer term time frames, but fundamentals become even more important on the longer term time frames. And it's because of that reason that Bitcoin tends to move a lot slower than it did yesterday. Because when you see a pump this quickly, Bitcoin didn't just get 30 or 40% more bullish on its fundamental side. I mean, we're taking like 10 words from President Xi Jinping, and yes, I'll admit, President Xi Jinping is one of the most powerful people on planet Earth, but he hasn't actually done anything. He just said something. Nothing has actually changed, which, like I said, means that this is a purely speculative rally, and it can crash just as quickly as it went up. It means that a $7,400 Bitcoin is just as valid of a price for Bitcoin as $9,200. Now, all of that is not to discount the progress that Bitcoin has made over the last 48 hours. As we know, Bitcoin has rallied through some very important levels of resistance, the 20 and the 50 and the 200. All three of those are very important levels of resistance that Bitcoin has now broken. Here's what we need to do from now. We need to translate this rally that has been so far purely speculative based off of one news story. This thing is built on a foundation of sand. We need to transition this into a technical rally that can continue the bull market, because right now, guys, like I said, this could fall over at any minute. There were some great trading opportunities on the way up, and hopefully you guys took advantage of those, but right now, you need to be a little bit more careful. Here's what we need to do from now. Bitcoin needs to close this daily candlestick before it does anything. This daily candlestick is perfect, except for this gigantic upper wick. I want Bitcoin to close this daily candlestick above the 50 and the 200. If it does that, we're good. At least that we're better. We're not good, but we're better, you know. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to see Bitcoin actually have a retracement. I want to see Bitcoin have a healthy retracement down to one of these moving averages, the 50 or the 200, I don't care which, and bounce off of it and continue higher. The last thing I want to have happen is for Bitcoin to pull back all the way down here to the 20 or even farther. If Bitcoin does that, then we lost all this progress and we might be looking months before we see another kind of rally like this that could allow Bitcoin to continue on its bull market. So what I want Bitcoin to do is go ahead and have a healthy correction and pull back down here to one of these moving averages and continue higher from there. Maybe trade sideways for a few days down here. Lock in these gains, because right now, guys, like I said, we're built on a foundation of sand. This can fall over at any moment, and I want Bitcoin to lock this in from a technical standpoint. I want Bitcoin to secure the gains that it has made. The entire reason that we're in this pullback, by the way, guys, is because Bitcoin didn't do that. Let me show you something. The reason that 2017 crashed so hard all the way from $20,000 down to $6,000, the reason that happened is because Bitcoin didn't have enough pullbacks on the way up. Bitcoin had a 40% retracement here. This retracement was not big enough. The first video on this channel, go back, it was me talking about how bad this retracement was and how it was going to probably lead to what I was explaining as a bear market back then, and it did. We called that. And then Bitcoin rallied from $8,000 to $20,000, had no correction in here, got so ridiculously overextended that it took over a year for Bitcoin to let the bears get themselves exhausted because the bulls had gone so far. That's exactly the same thing we did earlier this year, guys. Bitcoin rallied from $3,000 to $14,000, like a 300% increase. And we didn't really have a pullback to speak of during that time. We had some sideways consolidation here and some consolidation here, but we didn't really have a pullback. So the bears, of course, were very powerful when the pullback did come, because the bears' power should have been spread out through 1, 2, maybe 3 pullbacks on the way up to 14K. But instead, all of that bearish exuberance had to come at once in one gigantic mega pullback that we've been in up until yesterday. Point being that whenever Bitcoin has a major rally, it needs to also have healthy corrections and then continue higher. You don't want to see Bitcoin just moonshot and not have a correction, because that leads to an actual bear market like we saw in 2018. And I want to see it lock in these gains above $9,000 and continue on in a few days after we have confirmed that Bitcoin is now in an uptrend and Bitcoin is now going to be able to hold above those important moving averages that we've been discussing. And here's the thing, guys. I think Bitcoin's going to be able to do that. Bitcoin has been bearish for a long time now. Bitcoin has been overdue for a rally. We've been kind of looking for where the bottom was, so I'm not going to go ahead and say that, okay, this isn't the bottom. I think this is the bottom, actually. It's going to depend on whether or not Bitcoin can stay above these moving averages right here. You need to pay attention to those. If Bitcoin falls below those and stays below them, then we might be in for a couple more months of downtrend, but I'm not confident that that's what's going to happen. At this point, I am definitely back in the camp of the bulls. So there you go, guys. There's my analysis. If I had more time, I would talk about the geopolitical implications of what President Xi Jinping has said, to be brief in that so that I don't have to spend 20 minutes talking about it like I did during the live stream over here, which I've said this for a long time, for like 2.5 years, ever since I got in the cryptocurrency market. Whichever countries start to adopt Bitcoin are going to have a gigantic boon to their economy coming over the next 20 to 30 years. And I want to see the United States and the West start adopting Bitcoin and embracing Bitcoin and blockchain technology as fervently as it seems like President Xi Jinping wants China to embrace blockchain itself. I do not want China to be the leader in the cryptocurrency industry, quite frankly, because China is an authoritarian regime that I personally wouldn't want to live under, and I don't want them having any more power than the people that live in the West. I would much rather our half of the planet have that power. I'm not getting into politics really, but the point I'm trying to make is that whichever country, whichever political party, whichever faction starts to accept Bitcoin and blockchain, it's going to be a major boon to their economy, and I would like to see that be happening in the West as well as in China, or even better, in place of in China. Keep that in the back of your head, guys, because as Bitcoin continues to grow, it's going to become a partisan issue, and it's going to become a very political issue. Over the next couple of years, especially as Bitcoin goes on this next bull market above $20,000, even in American politics, both parties are probably going to start picking sides. It might even be an issue in not this presidential campaign, but in the next presidential campaign. This is where things start getting interesting, guys. If Bitcoin can get above $14,000 and get above 20, this is the moment that we've been waiting for the last 10 years, is when Bitcoin starts reaching mass adoption. That's what the 2020s are going to look like, and I'm going to be here to cover it, guys. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you hit that like button, or I might just have to tell my whales to crash Bitcoin again. I may even have to steal some of your Bitcoin, so make sure you hit that like button. We wouldn't want that to happen, would we? And also, guys, if you are new here, make sure you smash that post notification bell and hit that subscribe button so you'll be updated every time a new video comes out. One more thing to mention, guys, is the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. I talked about this on the live stream in yesterday's video, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed me talking about it, actually, because I explained my reasoning for why CT2A exists. I was telling you guys that I priced CT2A at $159 with a $40 off coupon code down below instead of $997 like I really should be pricing it. I mean, everything in marketing and advertising and e-commerce and information products, I should be pricing this course much higher than I am. There's a good reason why I'm not doing it, though, and I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. It's because I want as many of you guys as possible to be getting access to this premium content so that for a very low price, you can learn everything you need to know to trade cryptocurrency markets. I could be charging 7 times what I'm charging for the Academy here, and I'd be making a lot more money, to be honest with you, like 3, 4, 5 times more money, because it wouldn't actually stop that many of you from joining the Academy. The problem with that is that you'd have less money to invest in Bitcoin, and some of you wouldn't be able to join the Academy, and it'd be more of a higher tier thing that a lot of beginners couldn't get into. And that's the whole reason I made CT2A, guys, is to allow me to finance the time that I put into YouTube here, because it does take up a lot of time, and it's something that I love, but there does have to be a way for me to justify it. It allows me to do that while also giving you guys information that you need to learn how to trade these markets. It's a great exchange, and it's worked fantastic so far. We have 900 students in the Academy that are learning everything from the very basics of technical analysis all the way up through the much more advanced concepts that we teach down here in the technical analysis section. Concepts like mass psychology, gut feeling, market sentiment, golden and death crosses. That's something that's really relevant right now. Gauging the strength of support and resistance, gauging the strength of the bulls and the bears, convergence of support and resistance, convergence of short-term and long-term trends. All of these concepts are things that are not talked about a whole lot on YouTube, if at all, and they're very, very important. You need to know about these. So if you guys are interested, I implore you to do 2 things. First of all, join the Discord server down below and talk to some of our students. See what they think about CT2A. I want you to get their testimony before you join us so that you know you're making the right decision. Go and talk to our students in the DMs, in private, where I'm not there. I can't influence their decision. I don't even know you guys are having the conversation. Go and talk to them. See what they genuinely, honestly think. The pros, the cons, the benefits, the downfalls. See what they think. And the second thing is that if you you like what you hear, go ahead and join with the link in the description down below. Use October 2019. That is also in the description at checkout, and you'll get $40 off with your purchase. Anyway, guys, that coupon code will be running through the end of October, and then it won't be coming back for a little while, so make sure you go ahead and jump on in if you've been considering it. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I have a very long day planned, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But before we go, I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, though, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.